That'll keep the paint out of the threads. Houston, we have a problem. Guys, these spindles are worn out. The bushings in here are just shot. They're not supposed to wiggle like that. Let me call Pete and see what he has in stock. Hopefully he can get something out to us soon. Stand by.
Thanks for calling the pros at Aircool, the leader in quality, bespoke, drivetrain components. One of the pros will be right with you. Aircool, this is Pete. How can I help you?
Hey Pete, it's CT. I need your help.
What do you got, brother? What's going on?
I got the spindles off the 65 Beetle and they are junk. I was wondering if you have some possibly you could send out.
Sure. You're looking for to rebuild the stock stuff, or are you looking to drop it a little bit? What's the game plan?
I wouldn't mind dropping it a little bit and give it a little bit of an aggressive look. That'd be kind of cool.
Okay. We can put together a set of spindles and some, drop shocks for the rear, kind of set you up with all the goods necessary. I can get it out later today, first thing in the morning. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Great. Let me know when you get it. We'll make it happen, and thanks for killing it on YouTube, brother.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks, Pete.
All right, take care, brother.
You too. See ya.
Bye.
All right, guys, there it is. There's some washers in here. You're supposed to keep track of how many there are. Man, look how worn out that is. Woo. See those spacers right there? Well, that's some rusty grease right there. One, and they're different sizes. Like that one's really thin and that one's thick. So you're supposed to keep track of this, I guess, and supposed to put it back the same way. Not quite sure, but Air-Cooled sends a cool little chart that you can keep track of them. Let me see if I can get this out of here. Okay. So this is the passenger side, upper and lower. The lower has the shock bolt on it. And this is passenger side, upper or top is what I'm calling it. And as soon as you pull this off, this one's got a like a ridge on it. That was on the top. That was in there. That kind of makes sense. It's got a little notch on it too. There's a rubber gasket in between the two. And I'm only seeing one. Not sure what size it is. It's really thin. That's on the top. Let me look at his chart. That's the chart. A and B being on the top, C and D being on the bottom. Ah, crap. Try to get you guys a better picture over here. So Pete has this cool diagram made up so that you can keep track of your shims and where they go. It's pretty cool. So he's actually designed this to write down how many in the different sizes. I'm just placing them where they're supposed to go right now because I can't write anything with my greasy fingers. So D has 1, 2, 3, 4, and again, they're all different thicknesses. So I guess it's important not to get these mixed up. All right, well, we've got the arms off of these spindles, and these are the worn out spindles. I'm assuming these bushings get worn out and these pins get worn out. All right, guys, Pete got those spindles out quick, and they are here, and they look amazing. Can't wait to get these on. It's gonna be super cool. They're powder coated, they're all rebuilt, super sweet. Came with new shims and the pins and everything. This is gonna be awesome. This thing's gonna steer probably better than new, actually. And we're gonna have a little bit of a drop, not real drastic, but it's gonna have a nice little drop in the front to kind of give it a little more aggressive, sporty look. All right, guys, but before we can put on the new spindles, I gotta get this beam painted. Let's do it. All right, guys, there's a lot of work involved, a lot of prep work, getting everything cleaned up and ready for paint. I'm gonna keep getting this stuff cleaned up, and we'll be ready for paint here in just a little bit. Just want to keep the paint off this shaft. do we do this? All right, guys, we're gonna paint the transaxle on this table. That's why I put some paper on here, just because this table's got dirt and grease and stuff on it. I'm gonna try to prop these legs up with something. I'm not sure what yet. These axles. But I think this will be a good place to paint. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to get a little coverage. Hopefully this thing is good. It'll look nice, I guess. So, can we prop these up maybe? I'm not sure. I think we might be able to. Maybe put a block or something under here. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter as long as we can get under there. I think that'll work. All right, guys, it's starting to rain. You can hear it on the tin roof, but it's going to get real out here in a minute. But I just wanted to let you know everything is ready to paint. We got the arms, the transmission, the axles, the front beam, the transmission carrier, all stripped down, cleaned. I even wiped everything down with acetone, blew it off several times, taped off some of the areas that I didn't want paint to get into. And we are ready for some primer and paint. Everything is set up over here. We've got the Tamco primer, epoxy primer, and we got the Delfleet Essential semi-gloss or gloss. I think it's gloss. It's the same color, same as the chassis. So it's gonna look real sweet. Stand by, I'm gonna start getting ready to paint. All right, guys, let's do this. Oh yeah, black gold. Texas tea. Getting all over me already. DTA epoxy hardener is what I need. This is what I need. No, not yet. All right, this is 1-to-1. Pretty simple. I think that'll be enough. I guess we'll find out. Already getting it all over me. Should have put gloves on. Little acetone, clean that up real quick. You know, I don't know what the difference is between acetone and lacquer thinner. They're very similar. I wonder why they can't put paint in a container like this. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having, I don't understand why they have to have those types of tops, but Whatever. All right, we went to 4 on the 1-to-1 ratio, so we need to go up to 4 with the hardener, and that'll probably be more than enough to do the beam and the transmission. Okay. All right. Stir it up. All right. And this 3M paint system's pretty cool. It comes with these disposable sleeves that you can put in there. And this is reusable. This is kind of cool too. It's got the measurements on it and everything, but it's easier to use a cup. But this is the holder for the disposable thing. Pour the paint in there, already pre-mixed, ready to go. That should be enough to do the transmission, the beam, the arms, and the carrier. This is the primer, epoxy primer, and then we're going to put on the gloss black after. What's cool about the 3M system, it's got a filter built right into the cap. And this system's really developed to be disposable, so you dispose of the inner liner, you dispose of the cap when you're done, and you dispose of the tip when you're done. You can reuse those things, but you have to clean them, obviously. So the idea is that you don't have to use so much cleaner to clean everything. It's supposed to be a more efficient way. I'm gonna try 1.6 this time on the primer. This is the 3M gun, it's pretty cool. I am not a professional painter, guys. I just like 3M products and I saw this, so I picked it up. I like the idea of trying the different tips, because you can get a whole bag of tips, different sizes, and you can experiment with them. So that's it. The tip locks on with this sleeve right here. And then what you want to do is put your gun on. So, make sure everything's on tight. And then you're ready to flip it over. And that's ready to go. All right, guys, we're gonna do a quick little test spray over here. Make sure we got our pattern set up correctly. I've got my air pressure already set up properly. I've got 2 filters here to capture the moisture and dirt. This is one I picked up last year, but I replaced the disposable inner, and I just picked this one up. So I've got 2, because there's a lot of moisture here in Florida, a lot of humidity, and it gets pretty bad. And I've got pressure control here. I've got pressure control at the compressor, and I've got a little pressure control on the gun itself. So I'm gonna put my mask on, do a couple of test shots, and we're gonna start painting. All right, every bit of work. They're starting to look pretty good. So this is the epoxy primer. Once it dries, it'll be like a matte finish, kind of like a flat finish, but we're going to go ahead and put on a gloss paint just like we did with the chassis. So it'll look like this when it's done, nice and shiny. I got pretty good coverage. There's a couple little areas that have just a light coverage just because it's hard to get to some of those areas. This is not the best setup. The more I do this, the more I get creative with how to do this, but I've never painted a transaxle, so I wasn't sure quite how to rig it up. This seemed like the best option. The beam I've painted before, well, this was a new way for me to try it. This isn't bad actually, because you can adjust it to the height you want. It's just a rope going up, and then I got it tied here. Pretty easy. Okay, it's working. I got the shock bolts. I got the old shock bolts in here, a couple shackles, and a old shifter rod. Actually, it's a new shifter rod. It's just rusty. And yeah, that worked out pretty good. This was kind of in my way. I thought it'd be a good idea to hang it here, which it was, but it kind of needs its own rod to hang from. This was in the way of the gun when I was trying to get this area, so that's definitely in the way. But I'll work around it. I might, yeah, I don't know. I need some dollies. I need to make up some paint dollies that have wheels and that are basically have different areas you can hang stuff from. Not sure how you would do this differently. It's really kind of awkward to hang anything from it. So this seemed like the best setup. These arms, this kind of worked out. I was gonna hang these from something, from this bar, but I set them down on the table just for a second. They stood there, so I was like, all right, that'll work. You know, this is chassis stuff. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to look nice. I want things to look as nice as possible. And I'm learning, you know, how to use the gun and what tips and stuff like that. Yeah, it takes years to learn all that stuff. So if it comes out halfway decent, I'm pretty happy with it. Looks like I got a little run right there. You can kind of see it developing, but that's all right. It's all right. It's not going to be perfect. It's a work in progress. Oh, all right. This one is 6 to 1 to 1. Let's go to the four. Actually, I'm gonna go to the 3. That's probably plenty. Three. Oh, wait, where did I go? No, I went to the 4. Basically is what I did. Oops. Where's this thing at? All right, let's get the gloss on there. Looking good. Looking good.
Air cool, this is Pete. How can I help you?
Hey Pete, it's CT. My spindles are worn out. I was wondering if you have any available.
Nope.
Oh, terrible.
You see who that is?
Caller has disconnected the line. Goodbye.